Jake's POV. So, should we head down the mountain? I asked.
No, I think it would be best to just wait up here for the night, then head back down in the morning, Suma explained.
Well, we better get some firewood then. That way I don't have to maintain the spell all night, I suggested. Okay, Vindica said, but what is firewood? I sighed. It was going to be a long night atop this mountain. Suma's POV.
Turns out, firewood is exactly what it sounds like. Was specifically cut to be burned in a fire.
It feels like we were preparing for some kind of strange ritual, Vindica pointed out, as she released her mana and let a bundle of log Jake had cut with magic fall to the ground. He had found a tree that looked dry enough. They used some kind of beam of magical energy to remove a branch, and cut it into small sections. I know what you mean, Vompak said, as he carefully arranged the wood into the pattern Jake described beforehand. I can't say I have ever had to do anything like this before. And he cast the magical spell without uttering a word, Vindica said. You must have taught him well if he can use shadow casting, despite not having magic on his world.
I didn't teach him a thing. In fact, I think he has probably taught me more about shadow casting than I ever could have taught him, I said from my perch. My job was to be on lookout while everyone was working, just in case.
What do you mean? Vindica asked.
Jake taught himself shadow casting. In truth, I'm not sure I have ever heard him utter a single incantation, I told him.
I should be surprised at that, but I'm not, Vompak said, as he lit the small pile of wood aflame.
Even from my perch, I could feel the heat begin to increase.
Hot! He exclaimed, and fluttered back sharply, landing on another stack of wood behind him. How does he cast such powerful magic then? Vindica wondered.
He has this way of imagining the spells and their effects, but also their processes. I would liken it to the way a runecrafter works, I explained.
Does that mean he can craft runes? Vompak asked.
He thought about learning, but didn't have time before he left for training, I said.
Vindica's POV. Suma, Vompak and I were perched around the flames talking. The warm glow of the fire seemed to illuminate in a way that Jake's fireball just couldn't. The fireball was more of a penetrating brightness, but this was more like a living being. It flickered and popped occasionally at the base, surprising me each time. Vindica, I have some more logs ready, Jake called out from a short distance away. I left the warm flame, and as soon as I did, I noticed something I hadn't before. How cold the mountain was. It hadn't bothered me before, but now that I had felt so warm and comfortable, the cold bit at my feathers. I wonder, had I felt like this earlier, and just not known enough to care or realize it, or had it really not affected me before? I landed beside Jake's pile of logs and wrapped my mana, what little I had around them to pick them up. That should be enough for the night, Jake said, and picked up a few logs himself. We went over to the fire and dropped our logs a short distance away, then pushed around those warming golden and sky-orange flames again. Ah, that feels good, Jake said, sitting on a rock he had rolled over earlier. He was rather close to it, though. I actually worried he might get burned, but he seemed content. Aren't you guys going to get closer? Are you kidding? Vompak scoffed. I can barely stand the heat from this distance. We had all perched 2 or 3 times further than Jake was due to the heat. Despite the fact that I was enjoying it, I couldn't bear to draw any nearer. Jake's POV. Once the campfire was built up enough, I dispelled the fireball. That left only the orange glow of the burning wood to light up the area. We all sat, or perched in their cases, and talked for a while. As we did, I would watch the fire to make sure it was getting enough oxygen, by wrapping mana around certain logs and maneuvering them into better positions. So, Jake, what is your world like? Vompak asked. It's pretty different from your world. For starters, we don't have magic, I told them. Yeah, Suma mentioned that earlier, but what else makes it so different? He wondered. Well, for one, our sky is a different colour. Yours is orange, but ours is a faded light blue, I said. Blue? Why is it blue? Vindica asked, confused. Why is yours orange? I countered. I guess I don't know, she said. Our skies are the colours they are because of the gases that make them up. I don't know what makes up your world's air, but my world's Earth is mostly oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide, as well as several others. The specific mixture of all these gases diffuses more blue light than anything else, so our sky looks blue and yours looks orange, I explained. They all seemed lost. I'm sorry, I don't understand, Vindica stated. Vompak's POV. We perched around the flames, listening to Jake attempt to explain something far beyond my comprehension, but by the dragons there was no way I would ever admit that to them. Instead, I tried a different tactic. Perhaps we should switch back to the original question, I offered. Oh right, sorry. I can really go off on tangents when it comes to science, Jake said apologetically. He thankfully went back to detailing what his home, Earth as he called it, was like. To me it sounded both like a utopia and like a torture. He described a world where dangerous and deadly diseases were being cured daily, where hunger and war were all but eliminated, and where most people didn't concern themselves with survival, but with enjoying their lives. However, he also told us of his people's long and violent history. Of weapons more powerful than anything shy of grand-scale tactical magic, and perhaps most horrifyingly, of his people's switch from noble ruling classes to elected leaders. For a moment, I felt sick.